I'm going to face you, and we're going to work just a little bit through some breath work. So lots of times in class, I'll often cue the breath, and I like to use breathing really as a way to expand the movement, to find a deeper connection. But a lot of us, if we just breathe up into our chest, that's a very limited range of motion. So I want us to think almost like 360 where we can breathe. So a couple ways, if we want to practice, let's go ahead and bring one hand onto your belly and one hand onto your chest. And visualize like these two spaces underneath your hands that you could fill with your breath. So let's try to breathe into our belly, feel your hand expand, and then exhale, draw that hand back in. Breathe into your belly, and exhale, feel a little bit like that hand's going to draw back and in, like it's pulling towards your spine behind you. Let's add, and we're going to breathe up into our chest. So breathe up into the hand at your chest, and exhale. That's harder for me, actually. I have a hard time thinking of going up. Some of you, for some of us, that might be easier. It might just be like, whoop, really like just filling up underneath the clavicle and the top of your ribs. Exhale, soften. Let's try to combine the two. So we're going to breathe first into our belly, then up into our hand. Exhale from the hand, exhale from the belly. Nice and easy. Inhale into the belly, up into the hand. Exhale from the hand, draw out from the belly. Inhale into the hand, the belly, up into the chest. Exhale from the chest, draw in and up from the belly. Once more, inhale into the belly, up into the chest. Exhale from the chest, draw out from the belly. And take a little breather. That may feel natural for some of us. That may have felt really weird. We're going to find some lateral breathing. So bring your hands. I like to hook my thumbs behind my rib cage so that my fingers are pointing forward, and I'm right in line about with the bra line of my rib cage. So I do actually feel almost like my hands are now like a corset around my ribs. We're going to use the hands to feel how our rib cage expands laterally, as though I could really inhale wide into my hands. And then exhale, feel like you could draw your ribs away from your hands. Inhale wide into your hands. And then exhale, draw away from your hands. For a lot of us, what I see sometimes is not so much that the ribs go out, but that suddenly the shoulders come up. So I want you to really try to keep the top of your shoulders and the sides of your neck quiet. And it's okay if it's small. If it just starts with a little bit of an expansion into your hands, that's okay. Feel how you're kind of widening and then drawing back in. And if it's just a little wide and then we pull back in, that's okay, I'll take it. Let's do that just once more. Wide into the ribs. And then exhale to soften. Releasing the hands along beside us. We're going to move a little bit into our pelvic floor. This one's sometimes a little bit hard for people to find, but I like using the foam roller underneath me to feel the base of my pelvis. And what I want you to visualize is that your sit bones have dropped down into the cushion underneath you. And you're going to feel a little bit like it could soften down into the foam roller, and then almost like you're going to draw the base of your pelvis up off of the foam roller. Yeah. If sitting crisscross is a little uncomfortable for you, you can always kind of widen your legs a little bit. That's okay too. Maybe stretch them out. That's okay too. So kind of feel your most comfortable seated position. Again, I'm going to just place my hands on my thighs because that feels comfortable for me, and I'm going to try to breathe naturally, and I'm thinking of inflating the base of my pelvis. So I'm thinking actually downward. On that inhale, feeling like I could open the base of my pelvis. And on that exhale, feel a little bit I could draw in and up the base of my pelvis. Couple breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. Twice more. Inhale. And exhale. Once more. Inhale. And exhale. And soften and release. Take a little breather. That one might be really hard for some of us because we don't think that the breath could go down that deep, right? We always stay up here. But I want us to think of that 360 inhale deep into the base of the pelvis, all the way shallow to the top of your ribs. Last one here. We're going to flip. I'm going to turn towards the side so you can see me a little better. You can stay facing me. That's just fine. My legs are going to lengthen out, and my bottom is going to be on the back side of the foam roller. For this one, we're going to try to find the back of our ribs. So sometimes you might hear me say, think of inhaling wide into the ribs, deep into the back of your lungs. I want you to visualize, that there's even part of that hot air balloon back into the back of your rib cage. One of the best ways to do that is if we shorten the front of our body. So we compress the front of our body, so there's no room to breathe into your belly now, so you have to breathe into your back. This is a lot like spine stretch forward, except now we've got a little bit of a prop underneath us. So trying to sit up nice and tall, I feel my pelvis dropped down into the foam roller. I'm going to feel almost like I'm going to lift my rib cage up and start to fold forward over my quads towards my feet. Now my goal, or my focus here, is to not collapse onto my quads, but feel a little bit like I could lift the pelvis, the stomach, my ribs off of my quads, but stretch the top of my head towards my toes. I'm holding onto the back of my thighs or the back of my calves and gently drawing myself closer towards my quads. Hold here a beat. And as you inhale, I want you to try to visualize you're filling the back of your rib cage. And as you exhale, turn your sit bones down towards the floor, lift your stomach, and reach a little bit closer towards your toes. Hold, and just breathe. Twice more like that. Inhale wide into the back of your rib cage. And every exhale, pull the stomach away from your quads and round just a little bit deeper. Once more. Exhale, lift your stomach. Tuck your tailbone, let your neck go soft. Last inhale, feel the back of your ribs float away. And then exhale, slowly lift your stomach and stack yourself all the way back up. Nice and tall, carefully bend the knees.